Yeah, I think Arrowhead Studios just railgunned the crap out of themselves with this latest announcement. Helldivers 2 just royally messed up, and this could completely derail everything good this game has done. Prepare to see a mass exodus of the community in the coming month. Now, where I stand on this is not that far from the general consensus. However, last time I did a 5-minute video with a clickbait thumbnail, title, and intro where my actual conclusion, personally, I didn't think that was that bad. Y'all put words in my mouth and it kind of blew up in a bad way. So let's start with the summary first. PC gamers are a soft bunch, or at least y'all acting like damn clowns, acting like you don't have to do a third-party link up ever. Grow up. However, that personal sentiment can also exist with the reality and opinion that this is a terrible, horrible, bad move. Out of the many outcries I've seen online, the most valid, the most problematic one is the issue of PSN being required in countries where PSN is not a thing. And as of right now, there is no indication for exceptions. Therefore, there are going to be players that are going to lose access to this game. And that is fucked. That is horrendous. There is a glimmer of hope, and I hold reservation that maybe with the FAQ coming shortly that they announced that this can be negated somehow. However, this was handled poorly, and even if this gets walked back in some way, the negative sting I think will impact the game forever. Because let me be clear, removing access to a game you already purchased because you can't get an account is bad, period. Security concerns to me are the weakest argument here, not because they're not based on valid data, because Sony does have a history of issues, so it's not unfounded. But as a software engineer, I look at this from a different perspective. We all have multiple accounts out in the wild, so there's always going to be some inherent risk with getting our information out there. Companies are not infallible and will have issues. So I think the phrasing of "I don't want my information out there" to me is silly, because your information is out there and you do it constantly all the time. It is much better to rephrase that concern and argument to be something like, I don't want my data on a platform that is notoriously unreliable. And I'm not making the argument that you shouldn't not care just because everything could be hacked. That's not what I'm saying. It's just we all have our battles to choose. But to me, why security is the weakest form of the argument is because of the next point. The trend of having multiple accounts is troublesome, and honestly, this could be a whole topic video on its own. But as a practice in the gaming industry, this is nothing new. From my console days to now PC, you need to have accounts. To play on PS5, you need a PSN. To play on Xbox, you need a Microsoft account. But let's step away from platforms and talk about specific games. All the popular titles, Call of Duty, you need Activision. Any of the sports titles, you need an EA account. To play Apex, you need an EA account. To play Fortnite, you need an Epic account. X-Defiant that is coming, I'm pretty sure you need an Ubisoft account. So throwing a hissy fit for a practice that is standard is stupid to me. I'm not saying I agree with the practice, I'm just saying y'all are picking a weird time to make this an issue. So the fact that games force you to link third-party accounts is nothing new, and that should not be the focal point of this discussion. The focal point should be that the simple fact that months after release, players are going to lose access because of this decision. VPNing and creating an account where PSN is not supported is against terms of service, so asking those players to run that risk seems really silly, and honestly, you shouldn't be doing that. And if they're going to make exceptions for people in those countries, which I hope they at least do, but then to me, if you can make an exception for those countries, then why do we need to even have this as a rule in the first place? Players have the right to be outraged because of this. And though I'm personally not affected because I do play on PlayStation, it does not mean I can just sit here and say this was the right move, because it was not. This is not. This is going to ruin Helldivers 2.